Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Roulette Live with me, Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. Tonight, as usual, about 10 or so Roulette, or about 3 hours, whichever comes last. I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of low-level Realm Reborn duties. You probably know why. And conveniently, I had already planned to play Astrologian. The reason for that being that, like, last week we played tank anyway, and Astrologian is really good in low-level dungeons. And for those that are out of the loop, the reason why is Tuesday, new relic weapons came out, and the grind for that, straight up, the fastest way is to do low-level Realm Reborn dungeons in leveling Roulette. There are tricks to it. The two tricks that work consistently is either make sure that your light party has a legitimate low-level player. So you have to have someone with at most a level 50 job. Then the highest level duty you can get is Aurum Vale, of course. The second option is if you have only 3 players, have at least one of them, most easily just have the host do it, you know, the party leader, switch to basically no gear. Switch your weapon to like an item level 1 weapon. An option for that is the PvP weapons you can buy for wolf collars. Weapons like this. And then just take off all your equipment. You'll have an average item level of 0. Which means that you only qualify for a Realm Reborn leveling dungeons. All other dungeons in the game has an unstated item level requirement that it'll only show if you actually don't qualify for it. And you will be able to just open the menu and see that that it has like a lock on it if you don't have the item level required. But that lock goes away if you have a light party, hence why you need the fourth player to be legitimately low level. However, because this trick is there, you will probably, if you do leveling roulettes today, you will probably run into a lot of stacks of 3 players that will probably include a tank and a healer. Or at least a tank. And if the tank is there, among them, get ready if you're the healer. Because it's gonna go fast. Most Realm Reborn dungeons, if the healer and the tank is up to the task, you can pull everything up to a boss. Just kill the boss and the packs. And actually, if you pull the boss with all of that and it ends up wiping you, well, you can just use the checkpoint thing to teleport past all the trash packs. So, it's not that big of a loss if you do wipe. Yes, really. That's what I'm expecting to see a lot of today. Now, that said, hey Talamar, hey Seros, hey Lichor, hey Rost, hey Jin Monica, hey Tremere, hey Lana, hey Tinley, hey Ansa, hey Kaj, hey Zaf, hey Naomi, hey Redmaster, hey Gersel, hey Ilya, hey Tessie, hey Milo, hey DPS, hey Shorakai, hey Shaman, hey Jeff, hey Stingera, hey Kiwi Crusher, hey Zam, hey False Geek, hey Nox, hey Cat, hey Fila, hey Ender Sackboy. Hope you're all doing very well. And hey Crimso Sky, hope you're doing well as well. Right. So let's get to it. I will queue when it says 42. Hey Silver Grey Wolves, hope you're doing well as well. Ah, yeah, I could imagine that would happen, Zaf. Also, this was unexpected, but not bad, not too bad. Wow. I should have used light speed there. Indeed, Taldemar. Wait a minute. Hey, best game. Hope you're doing well. Well, there isn't that much to say, best game. The key differences between the DPS is that there's the party bonus down there. The game has labeled them as different. Like, that's the first thing. That's the first thing that makes them different. The second thing that makes them different is that, of course, melee DPS are a little bit less flexible on mobility because they want to stay in melee range. And mages, over the years, it's not nearly as much as it used to be, but mages are generally less flexible on mobility than ranged physical jobs, because cast times. In terms of the way they play, the key difference is that the melee jobs have a tendency to do a bit more personal damage. That's often something they compete with mages more so on. Ranged physicals are more likely to provide more party damage bonuses. And then they have like individual advantages. Ultimately, a lot of it comes down to differences that you will understand if you take a little bit to play each of the DPS types. That is the best way to understand it. When it really comes down to it. I say Regal Skies, Metricon and Dyson. Hope you're doing well. Well, Dyson, all you have to do is just say no. No! Where the key differences is more so in like the way they do damage, the way that they move, and sometimes they have specific like typical advantages. Like for instance, ranged physical jobs have a raid-wide damage reduction effect, which matters because sometimes the boss will be using a raid-wide attack while it is unattackable or untargetable, so you can't, you know, use feint or addle or reprisal on it or something. And also the one that ranged physicals provide is the strongest of those kinds of mitigation. Like it even beats what tanks and healers can provide. The only thing that even comes close is well, the only thing that even like can match up to it is Paladin's Passage of Arms, which itself is kind of specific. And then melees, of course, have feint, which reduces physical damage better, and mages have addle, that reduces magic damage better. That's all sorts of small things. The thing is, nearly all of the reasons that someone might care about these differences are small enough differences that you would happen to have a mix of different DPS because of other reasons. Like, for example, the fact that mages have addle means that if you have, like, in a savage context, 2 mages instead of 2 melee DPS, which is the more common configuration, then if a boss fight has a lot more physical damage present, that will of course be harder for a heavily mage-focused composition. But for the most part, it's something that you just go, okay, so we'll have to account for that. You don't really go, oh, so we can't use 2 mages for this one because there's too much physical damage. You just go, okay, and just continue on with your day. So the differences are small enough that that for the most part, it's small differences that you'll be like perhaps more interested in having as the DPS. The healers and the tanks are just like mitigated. Do something about it, right? Because it doesn't matter that much. What matters is that you don't overlap mitigation. And in terms of what else they bring to the table, it doesn't really matter. The differences don't really matter that much. It's usually down to defensive options, because the damage options are, you know, that's something that matters when you're making your, like when you're choosing your DPS jobs. I know that's very, very confusing, but yeah, the funny thing is, when I originally made my tanks from a healer's point of view and healers from a tank's point of view videos, I noted I should also make ones for DPS. And then every time I tried, I realized that nearly all of the differences between the DPS from a tank or healer's point of view don't matter. Like, genuinely, every time I tried, I was like, okay, so what difference does it make whether you have a samurai or a monk, or a reaper, or a viper, or a ninja, or a dragoon? It doesn't. Like, it straight up doesn't. So there was nothing to say. The difference between caster DPS and range DPS feels much less than the difference between Black Mage and Summoner. Yeah, in a way, you could say that. And then again, the differences between, for instance, Black Mage and Summoner is that Black Mage provides nothing for the party. The only thing Black Mage provides for the party's benefit specifically is anything that any mage could provide. The only other thing is technically, in a very roundabout way, you could say that Black Mage having a barrier is something it provides for the team. Also, hey Ram, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. Also, hate the people coming in while I'm rambling here. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, like basically, if you look at what a Black Mage provides, it's straight up. I can do a lot of damage. Shrug. That's it. Take it or leave it. Whereas a Summoner just radiates extra healing every now and then. And it has barriers just like Black Mage. In fact, it has more barriers than Black Mage. So I think the chat thingy is a little slow today. And yeah, also as Kat said, a lot of the time, knowing that a DPS has access to a particular thing doesn't matter, because sometimes they straight up just won't use it. But if you're in a party situation where you can assume that they will use it, then that's of course a lot more helpful to know. The chat thingy is being a little weird right now. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs, Elana. Wow, thank you so much. May have to try and restart the chat thing. It looks like it's completely dank. It seems like it is only working in OBS when I have focus on the program itself. Like, look at this. It's stuck like that. Now I click the app. Weird. Let me just is it straight up doesn't want to work in the background? Exactly, Nox. Let me just try and restart it. Oh boy. It does seem to work now. However, for a second it looked like it almost froze and crashed my game. Okay, so here's the story. Now it works in OBS. But my actual live feed that I check on a different monitor normally when I'm looking at you only works when I have focus on it. I mean, this works better, I guess, but why? Anyway, I guess we'll just act like everything is fine. Exactly, thanks program, very cool. Well, my PC has been acting a little strange leading up to the stream. When I have focus on the game, my toolbar on my other monitors don't seem to respond to my cursor. So that's weird. Well, let's continue and act like things are fine. On that note, hey, Bread Bean and Mizunashi and Champion, hope you're doing well. Sometimes my statics healer can't currently start the game at all, even after full reinstall, and it crashed several times on Tuesday during raid. So, more info, it seems. Now, it appears that the app updates as long as I don't have the game in focus. Strange. Say rain soon. Hope you're doing well. I will queue when it says 42 again. Thank you, Necrofits. It also seems like it is having trouble with emotes now. Cool. Hey Joshua, hope you're doing well. We're playing Astrologian today. Hey Mister, hope you're doing well. I imagine this weird jank with the PC could be solved by either restarting 14 or the PC, but on the off chance that it were to get any worse, I think we'll just keep the game open. Then I'll figure out what's why the PC is acting weird when we're done streaming. This dungeon is optional, right? That is correct. Which is part of the reason why you see it less and less. As I've talked about many times in the past. Part of the reasonable, I would say, motivation of not making too many optional dungeons in 14 from the development side is that the moment that they're no longer current, most players just go, nah. And then just never do them, never bother to unlock them. So why should you? Like, why bother making the content when players are just gonna throw it away the moment that it isn't new? Can we make all of the alliance raids mandatory? Now that would be an idea. Say Flims and Omnisia Sphinx will be doing well. And Riftwalker. Hey Songbird, hope you're doing well. There's also the angle that if all of the alliance raids were made mandatory in what way, right? If they are made mandatory by making them, well, you have to complete them to get through the MSQ, then that's going to be extremely difficult to convey. Like, the MSQ is already quite overwhelmingly long for new players. If it's mandatory because, oh, well, you can't actually, like... A way you could make Crystal Tower less prominent in Alliance Raid Roulette is by making it so that you need to have all of the Alliance raids that are relevant to like that match your that are within your level range. That you have to have all of those unlocked. That would be a solution. But it would also more likely just mean that players would be like, it's too tedious. And arguably that would of course mean that, oh, well then you just, like, you'll just have the people that do want it tied to a relic weapon like they did with Hildy. Well, see, the thing is, Tremere, they have done that in the past. You know why Obon Monastery and generally Stormblood Alliance raids come up? I would say a lot more frequently than Nier raids. because the Near raids drop cosmetics, and the Stormblood raids are required to access Bozja, which is required to access Shadowbringer's relics, which are the best relic weapons for old ultimates. Now, how much that matters, of course, depends and varies from player to player, but it does mean that there's a lot more reason to do the Stormblood ones, just from that. Hey, DNCN, hope you're doing well. I'm getting the Black Mage relic first. Hey Rodan, hope you're doing well. The Endwalker ones. I could see the reason for that, yeah. Again, in my opinion, I feel like it tends to be better if you, like, the thing is, you don't have to make things mandatory to get people to do them. You just have to put a sufficiently desirable thing. But the justification for wanting the Endwalker Alliance raids in as mandatory is that they have actual like they have story implications, so it makes sense to require them. On the other hand, it doesn't make that much sense to require that you have to do the Near raids, for instance, if you think about it. Could they offer better rewards if you enter a side dungeon synced through the party finder? I feel like that's a little bit of a different conversation, isn't it? Oh, now I get what you mean. I guess they could. Of course, I assume what you actually meant was the duty finder, the DF, as opposed to PF. They could probably do it in such a way that if you do a duty synced, it gives more rewards than if it's not synced. But that's not really the problem. Like, the problem is getting players to do them all together. I don't know what you mean by watered down, Ragnir. Nicole, hope you're doing well. Which of the raid tiers fights is my favorite? In terms of the combat, I think on normal, I would say my favorite is probably the Surfer Bros. A Faith and Storymix. Whoops. Hope you're doing well. Strumix just says, why am I buffering every 2 seconds? Are others also having this problem? Okay. Just making sure, as I mentioned, the overlay with the chat is having a day. And my PC is having something weird with the toolbar today as well. So it would, if there was something weird, then it would be nice to know. Whoops. Is Windows having a normal one again? I don't know. I think this is not the first time the PC has done that. It's just some days it is like that. And I'm sure that a restart or something is probably fine. It's even possible, considering that the jank with the toolbar is happening when Final Fantasy XIV is in focus, that maybe just restarting 14 will do it. I feel like I've also got the experience that my PC feels like it's working harder than it normally does to do what it normally does. So it may have started things wrong, but on the off chance that it's not that simple, I'm not gonna close Final Fantasy XIV while we're streaming. The PC will have to force me to do that, so that we can at least have the stream in peace. But yeah, for those that came in a little bit later, during the first duty, it turned out that the overlay was frozen except when I had the app that controls the overlay in focus. Then I restarted the app, and now the overlay works, but the app itself is frozen. Unless I have it in focus. Which means that I have a little bit of a harder time following chat today. I'll queue when it says 50. Yeah, Songbird, these days might not be the best time to start learning tanking, especially if you're leveling from low level, because a lot of players are spamming leveling duties to... Oh, Lechar's here. To grind their relic. Some players will be nice and slow down for you. That's not everyone. It's pretty funny. I had a Brave Flux long stop with like we were 3-man pre-made. It was a fine team and everything. But I needed a second because a teammate's gear needed to be repaired. Just needed a couple seconds, so I said 1 second as we started the duty, only for the rando to just run in and pull the pack immediately. You should not let Lechor drop that low. That was a little spooky. So I should level skip Paladin. I don't recommend that. If you're new to a role especially, maybe just use the opportunity to level. Why not just let the rando die? Because, Light God, that would slow down the run. I mean, the trick is, of course, that we were specifically spamming duties in this way to run duties fast. So someone being even even more excited to go fast than us, like, no reason to be a jerk about it, right? Just let them do that. They didn't die. And it's also possible they pulled by accident. So that's why we don't have Time Mage in the game. You see, actually, Ronan, Astrologian used to have several things that were like Time Magey. The thing is, these things were so strong that let's just say that the difference between a good Astrologian and a really good Astrologian was enormous. Like, to the point where I think it was difficult to balance. For instance, Celestial Opposition used to have a completely different effect. Its original effect, as I recall, was... It was an OGCD 4-second stun around the Astrologian. And it increased the duration of buffs applied by the Astrologian on everyone nearby by 10 seconds. Hey Hooch and Seraph, hope you're doing well. But could you cast slow? Technically, yes. In a way, in Stormblood at least, all casters, basically all casters, had the spell Break, which did some damage and slowed the movement speed of enemies. It was also free, so healers would sometimes use it so that they didn't spend their precious MP when that was relevant. So yeah, in a way, but that was like a role action more so than like an Astrologian spell. Astrologian also used to have a spell, an ability that just increased the duration of buffs on a single target. That buffs that the Astrologian had applied by, I believe, 15 seconds. So basically, when you had done your big setup of ancient divination, which was basically you used a combination of effects to give a party-wide balance card, which increased your damage by a lot more than it does today, by the way, then you made sure that everyone got that effect for like 30 seconds or something, and your best DPS, of course, got it for like 40 or 45 seconds. I will say, it is a fair point that anyone in the party can pull, but you do kind of have to work together as a team. So if the party is pulling way ahead of the tank, making it difficult for the tank to do their job, then when the tank asks people to slow down a bit, maybe you slow down a bit. I would also say, if you make a problem out of anyone in the party choosing to open the treasure chests in a duty, then you're the jerk. Sorry. I don't make the rule. Actually, I do make the rules. I choose to make the rule. If you get on someone's case for choosing to open the loot that is right there just because it slows the party down for a couple seconds, then you're the jerk. And Ninozara, I think it's something that is happening right now because the new relic weapon step is most quickly done by spamming low-level leveling roulettes. You can probably see how that would cause problems, because the fastest way to run it is to skip all loot and just run. Just kill everything. But then when you have a legitimate player, a legitimate low-level player, who queued leveling roulette for the leveling roulette, and they want the loot for any reason, they don't even need a reason, then they technically slow down the run, right? Yeah, exactly, 3 Wizards. It's a case where it's like, that's a little bit annoying because it slows down the run, but too bad. They're allowed to go and grab the loot if they want it. It's just too bad. If you wanted to do it differently, if you want it done differently, you'll have to make a pre-made. But as a matter of fact, as I explained at the start of the stream, the fastest way to grind this either means you need to have a friend who actually needs to level some jobs, or you need to do a 3-man pre-made, which means that you will have one player who's not in on it. And I'm sorry, but you have to consider that they also are there for a reason. And they might not be in this for the same reason as you. And they're allowed to be there for their reason. But yeah, genuinely, like, that's actually the real reason why there's some problems here, is that the fastest way to do this requires effectively that you queue in a situation where you will be matched with random players. And yeah, see, that's another funny thing there, Songbird, because there exists players that believe the best way to learn, for instance, tanking, is to just throw you right into the deep end and just be like, yeah, well, one day you'll have to deal with players that pull like this, so we might as well be your first. on day one. Which I absolutely don't agree with that one either. But yeah, exactly. The whole problem, the whole crux of the issue here is exactly that. 3 of the players might be totally in agreement. The 4th player, not so much. My advice on that, by the way, if you want to do these leveling roulette spam groups, to spam low-level stuff, you bring a tank. You bring the tank. Also bring the heal. If you have a 3 stack, then you have the tank and the healer. So you don't put some random sprout tank or healer through that. If you don't bring a tank, then you'll just have to deal with the pace that the tank puts. I know that that's not quite the rule, but the thing is that if the difference is this tank wants to pull, you know, a reasonable amount, and you want to pull an unreasonable amount, then the middle ground is still closer to reasonable. And the tank might not be capable of meeting in the middle. But you can meet them, because you're the stronger player. And if you don't bring the healer, then I guess you'll have to slow down if the healer isn't capable of handling the pulls you're sending them. Like, really important detail here is that this is the fastest way to do all this, but you do have to remember that there are other players involved that might not be in agreement with you. Exactly, guys. The only way I can imagine that happened, that's the only way I could imagine what Violet Songbird went through happened, is that they had a 3 stack that was 2 DPS and a healer. I don't know how else it could happen. I will say, if you're a solo, like if you're queuing completely alone, the rules are a little bit different. But I still stand by that. Pay attention to what your healer's doing if you're the tank. Figure out whether they seem up for the gigapull before you gigapull for them. Or before you gigapull, because it might not go as well as you'd hope. You can also just try it, and if you wipe, then, you know, sorry, I'll pull less. And then you just continue from there. But I would personally recommend that you just do a more reasonable pull. Like, let's not forget that, like, we've always been doing relatively fast pulls in low-level duties. It's just that now that we know that there's a lot of crazy players in the queue, we can suddenly pull even more insane. This might be one of those you forgot to make sure optimal gameplay is fun angles. Say, Delilah, hope you're doing well. I will also say, as I said earlier on the Discord, I've been spamming like this leveling roulette stuff earlier today because I think it's fun. But I've been doing so being the tank and bringing the healer. So the one person along for the ride was a DPS. And I just, like, essentially, we played it in a way where it didn't matter what that fourth player was doing. If they wanted to take it slow and loot every chest on the way, go ahead. And for the most part, they were keeping up. So it's not like we left them in the dust, right? In fact, some pulls were harder if we went fast, but the DPS wasn't ready for it. Who could foresee the 3 pumpers and a rando angle? That's a very good point. Right. I will be right back, and then we'll continue. In the meantime, sanity restored. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, there's also something about Aurum Vale there that, due to the rework, I'm pretty sure that actually taking a straight path through the dungeon, through the first room, is better than leaning left now. As I think I've mentioned before, as far as I could see, they moved a pack from the center of the room to the door, as in over to the entrance to the boss room, which is why there's more plants now. But that also means that that pack isn't in the center of the room. You're gonna get this pack anyway, because it's at the door. And the toad that is blocking you from running through the center normally, sometimes, is placed so close to the entrance to the room now that it's really, really difficult to avoid it. You're probably gonna pull that too. So all of the reasons why you didn't want to run through the middle, like through the center of the first room, have basically been removed. I think it's possible, Asymmetricon, but it's a lot harder. It's also worth mentioning that the first toad still has the bug where if you run far enough away, it resets. So, anyway, I will queue when it says 23. How do you deal with it if someone asks to watch cutscenes, but someone else in the group just pulls? It sort of depends. It's extremely rare, me personally, that I run into someone who asks to watch cutscenes. If someone chooses to watch cutscenes, then at the very least, I will not be the one pulling if I see it. Most of the time. But if someone pulls and I'm the tank, it's very likely that I will simply determine, well, the person watching cutscene will just be here late. And if that's a problem for us, then it's not their fault. For instance, if someone pulls, but it's the healer who's watching the cutscene, if I die trying to save the situation, right? Then the person who pulled is the idiot, not the healer. But yeah, it kind of depends. But it's also simply that for me, personally, if I'm in a duty for the first time and I'm watching the cutscene and someone pulls anyway, then I will just shrug and be like, well, I'm watching the cutscene. I'll be there when I'm done. And then we'll just take it from there. I'll see this duty many times, so I don't mind that the first time I don't get to see it from the very start. There's also the part that A Realm Reborn bosses, a lot more frequently, you're not really missing out on anything. Like, if the boss is gonna do auto attacks a bunch, maybe they'll do a tank buster. You'll probably not miss much. Yeah, that is also true. There are exceptions like 1,000 Maws of Totorak, where if you pull while someone is watching cutscenes, then they're not seeing the boss. Like, they'll see the big cutscene, the boss will spawn for them, the cutscene ends, and the boss is dead, and everyone has left. It's just music's over, they enter, and it's just like an empty stage. You're late to the party, everyone has gone home and cleaned up. There's nothing. They're gonna have a rude awakening. See, that's what I mean, Kiwi Crusher, is that if it was me, I would just be like, well, you can literally see that I'm watching the cutscene. You saw that I was gonna watch the cutscene, and you pulled anyway. So you have already decided that it's fine that I watch the cutscene. So I'm just gonna watch the cutscene. Like, if you think about it, the big cutscene icon next to your name while you're watching the cutscene and your name changing to viewing cutscene, it tells the people who are going to pull pretty clearly, if you pull now, you're alone. Okay, hope you're doing well. Hey, Demon Souls, hope you're doing well. Did we forget to pick that up again? Yes, we did. I get the feeling that a part of this party... I'll admit, I am also forgetting the oil, but the amazing fact that we're all forgetting it consistently like this, and I'm the one going, oh, whoops, gives me the impression that we have a party of players that usually have just, like, someone else has solved the problem. Welcome back to the Cult of the Pink, Clove. Thank you so much for the support. I didn't see if the pop-up worked. Did anyone see if the pop-up worked? It did. Okay, fantastic. Short summary, the app that I'm using to control those things freezes today if it's not in focus, but it seems like it works. It's still working somehow. Thank you for the gifted membership, Kay. Thank you so much. Ugh. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, Clove. Wow. Yeah, so many gifts today. Very appreciate very much, guys. Thank you. We got it in the end. Anyone active in the chat? I believe Jeff Boy is active in the chat. Hey Shaq, hope you're doing well, and thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Wow, the chain reaction. Thank you so much. God is killing ass. Yeah, it's fine. And thank you for the sub DPS. Thank you. Amazing. Me after the duty, writing the recording's name. Like, what's that duty called again? Ah, yes, Wanderer's Palace. Indeed. Right, I will queue when it says 07. All the gifted because the overlay being borked. Yeah, indeed. I should make sure the overlay is broken more frequently. I'm impressed that we haven't gotten any ARR dungeons, but actually, or rather ARR leveling dungeons. I have an idea. That overlay is McDonald's ice cream machine. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Oh, that's a shame, Rain Soon. I have an idea as to why, despite the relic stuff going on, that I'm not seeing any AR leveling dungeons. I'm guessing that yeah, exactly, Lana. Probably a lot of the parties are bringing their own healer. But another thing could also be simply that, I mean, they don't need anyone. Like, there's so many people spamming leveling roulette that mentors are not needed. Which, I mean, all things considered, on the one hand, we can look at this entirely negatively and be like, these turbo runners ruining it for the sprouts, when they want to have a slow experience or whatever. At the same time, this may be the moment if you wanted to level an alt. If you wanted to level an alt job in ARR levels right now, is the chance. Because queues are going to be short. And yeah, exactly. For DPS jobs in particular, it's probably going to be pretty fast. So that it's not all bad. Let's just say that it's not all bad. A pretty funny story there is that
I will crush you underfoot.
Earlier when we had a four-man pre-made to do this, Sip has a Lancer, or he had a Lancer level 29. So He switched to that, and then the rest of us was, were, doing the trick. We had tank, healer, DPS to just pump through as quickly as possible.
Enough.
I think he hit like level 40. Exactly. Sip Lancer. Is it a Dragoon now, Sip? Or have you gotten time to do some quests on it? Because the crux of this story was specifically that Sip was level 29 Lancer. And I said, no, don't worry about doing your job quests. We'll just spam anyway. It's fine. You have full thrust, right? They stainless. Hope you're doing well.
Can you withstand this?
Yeah, if you want to farm the relic stuff and you have any jobs below level 50, a legit strategy is to just level those jobs. Okay, says back in Shadowbringers, I went into copied factory as Lancer, and then my internet crashed me 13 times. Wow. The universe said no. You did the quest before the stream started. Oh, fantastic, Sip. Yeah, exactly. If you then get Pugilist up to level 16, then you have another one queued up and ready to go. But that is effectively in a way, you could call it the more considerate way to do this grind, is make sure that someone in your party has a low-level job, so you don't need to, like, rope in some rando. Nice. But another thing is like the other considered way to do it, as I mentioned before, is also just, you know, as I've said in videos in the past, it's funny how often people get very, very cross with me about it in the comments, that who cares and all that, but that just being considerate and taking a moment to see who you're partying with, like who's in your party, should you pull big actually, is the truly considered way to do it. It's just, you know, just take a moment to see if you genuinely believe the party you have should be receiving a gigapull. You know, Kiwi Crusher, it starts to get more fun when you hit level 35, in my opinion. You have to queue up as the job that has relic weapon? No. You don't even have to queue up on a max level job. That is the reason why you can straight up just have anyone in your party doing the relic quest. If they have something they want to get leveled, they can just use that. But yeah, level 31 Black Mage, or yeah, well, 31 Black Mage is rough. it's not that level 35 is like amazing, but let's just say that below level 35 is where Black Mage is really rough. It gets better as you go past 35, of course. But 35 is where it starts to be like, oh, I can actually do stuff. Like, you even have ways to overcome, like, better ways to overcome the whole problem with your party just running away as you're casting something. Because by that point you have an AoE dot, and you can just use you could use a Cold Fire 2 or a Hot Blizzard 2 to just quickly alternate, to just do fast casting. And then you can just cast a Thunder, because it's okay damage. Like, you start to have options instead of just going Thunder, Scathe, I guess, Transpose, Thunder, Scathe, I guess, question mark. Maybe do a Swift casted Blizzard just to get some MP. Like, gets a lot better. Not that it takes much to be better when that's all you can do. Lex says I hated Black Mage for like half the leveling process, and now it's my second favorite class. Huh. I'm just saying, as long as I hit a duty of at least level 35, I can cook. I can do something. But if I land in a duty below that, I'm just like, I don't have anything. I can't do anything. I can just do the obvious stuff. That's it. But if I land in like a level 35 duty, I know the optimal rotation for level 35. And it's not the intuitive thing. If I land in duty level 42, I know the optimal rotation there. Hey Pixel, hope you're doing well. And enjoy your roulettes. He can cook. I can cook. Optimal rotation for Buckman. Cast Fire 1, Thunder, spam Fire 1 on Buckman. If you run out of MP, Transpose Blizzard, don't bother using Thunder. Actually, maybe bother using Thunder, depending, but actually I'm pretty sure that Blizzard will land faster than Thunder. If it really comes to that. So genuinely just use like Fire 1, Thunder, spam Fire 1, and then Transpose Blizzard if you have to. With a group that is doing the best they can, you will probably only cast Blizzard 1 once. Oak says I have the balance leveling guide open for Black Mage. They have a handy one page that just shows rotation for single target AoE at level ranges. Yeah, I know at least one or two level ranges where my method is superior.
Darkness shall consume light.
Just to clarify, Hook, the level ranges where I have cooked better is like, as far as my calculations say, is level 35 to 41 for single target, and level 40 to 49 for AoE. And the cook is like about 1% damage difference.
Mortal scum.
So it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, my idea is way better. It's so small that I had to double triple check that I had gotten it right. A Bakshark? Indeed. The cook is also pretty simple. If for anyone curious, the 35 to 41 cook is, it turns out, due to the 7.2 buffs to Fire 3, yes, it turns out that spamming Fire 3 and then finishing your Astral Fire with a Fire 1 is better than doing it normally. And if you can swift cast one of those Fire 3s, even better. And the 40 to 49 is the recommended AoE rotation on the balance is Thunder and then spam Freeze, and then if you need another Thunderhead, then transpose the Fire, cast Fire 2-3 times, and then transpose back to Ice. And of course, you know, use Thunderheads as you need them. The way I do it is that I just transpose at a very specific moment, so I can go transpose Fire 2, Thunder, transpose, and then you go out of Astral Fire to get so that you are in Umbral Ice with a Thunderhead. And as I said, it's like a 1% difference. It might be slightly more than that, but the difference is so small that if I saw someone do either one, I wouldn't say a thing. I'd just be like, huh, they know what they're doing. Whew! The sprout almost started running towards me. Did you see that? Exactly, Regal Star. Precisely. That is indeed the thing. And it's even worse because the general consensus, the general understanding is that you shouldn't cast Fire 3 for the damage. Which means that if you see someone in level 35 to 41 spam Fire 3, you're going to assume that they're doing it wrong, right? A 1% difference, got a whole book written about it in Endwalker, so it's not exactly nothing. You know, that is a good point as a Metricon. Ronan says, did Scathe ever have a legitimate use? It was basically just a movement button. That was always its use. But as far... let me put it like this, Ronan. If you check the patch notes on Console Games Wiki on Scathe, you might actually laugh. The only change Scathe has ever received is they nerfed it. It used to be 120 potency. The only other changes it's received are nothing changes. Basically, the MP cost of it was adjusted when they normalized MP to be 10k. Which is, as I said, it's a nothing change because all spells got that one. Don't need to change perfection. I will queue when it says 8. So it's just for spamming when you can't stand still? Essentially, yeah. And relatively early, you will have better options. Like, case in point, if you're running at in Dawntrail, if you're like low-level Black Mage and you have to chase a pack, then the best you can do, if you can't stand still, is pretty much Thunder, Scathe, transpose, Thunder, transpose, Thunder, Scathe, transpose. You just spam Thunder, because Thunder is actually decent. Essentially, the damage that Thunder provides is nearly the same as Scathe, and it's free. If I recall correctly, at launch of Dawntrail, there was a funny oversight that basically meant that that Thunder 1 had a base potency, like the upfront potency was 120, which meant that at launch, Thunder released as objectively better than Scathe. And you learned Thunder earlier. But there are cases where Scathe is good. I don't know how much it is now, but I do believe that deep dungeon stuff, particularly Palace of the Dead, if you want to solo that as Black Mage, I don't know why you'd want that, but if you'd want to do that, then Scathe has its uses. How Scathe would do if slide casting was removed. With the 7.2 changes, Black Mages don't rely nearly as much on slide casting as they used to. There's also the part that, Redmaster, when you get Paradox at level 90, Scathe is so bad, that it is better to just cast Paradox, transpose to Fire, cast Fire Paradox, and then cast Fire 3, and then transpose back to Ice, and then just Umbral Soul twice. And like, actually, it is better to just do nothing for 2 GCDs. And then Paradox, transpose Paradox, Fire 3. That's how bad Scathe is when you get to level 90. But at lower levels than that, you might be put in the position where you have few enough options that Scathe might have a use if slide casting didn't exist. Might. But it's not like you got that much mobility out of slide casting anyway, so... Hey Harry, hope you're doing well. It's not exactly MSQ day, but we've gotten 2 so far. No Buckman? No guild tests, actually. Guys, I got enhanced Benefic. Look at me go. Can't use it for anything. But I have it. But yeah, long story short on Scathe is that, as far as I know, even in A Realm Reborn, it wasn't really something you'd use that much, as far as I understand. It wasn't really something you'd use that much. You've got any extremes? Not tonight. Why are extremes in men's roulette? I don't know, ask Yoshi P. I don't know. Why a savage duty is not? Like, genuinely, I couldn't possibly answer that. I don't have an answer, it's just they are. Let me call him right now. Oh yeah, you can call him. Tomas, has any thoughts on Astrologian? It's nice. Has a lot of options. I usually prefer to play barrier healers, although recently I've gotten to enjoy white mage a lot more. So incidentally, I don't play Astrologian that much. Nothing wrong with Astrologian. It's just I prefer other healers. Oh, that's a sad battle voice, but I guess like it'll be 2 minutes, so you won't be losing anything.
But the ultimate weapon is all powerful. Why does
Necrofit says, imagine being able to queue for P8S and just pulling in a bunch of mentors. You would never see people leave faster.
truly be so great?
It is the blessing of light that confounds
Yeah.
you.
Like that, I kind of said the same thing, Necrofits. I made a video on like the mentor roulette a little bit ago, and I pretty much said in that one, as far as I recall, if you landed in like a Shadowbringers extreme or newer, maybe even certain Stormblood extremes, I would be shocked if the mentors stayed. What is the best thing for Red Mage to do for movement? Depends on the level, of course, but if you can plan the movement and you have a spare melee combo, it's a pretty good time to do that. Failing that, acceleration and swift cast, which does indeed mean that for the most part, reprise is reprise is a little bit like Holy and White, or a hard-casted Holy Spirit, or a Ruin 2. Like, it's the fallback options, right? Saying this is, I mean, in general, if they don't have those tools, because my red mage always complaining. I've heard that this raid tier has enough stuff that requires you to move that the red mages were sweating in week 1. Is Cat in chat? That is a great question answer. I think Cat was here earlier. I was saying, Exodia. Hope you're doing well, and same to you, Shagman. Your swift cats are kind of tied up in aligning your flesh and contradict. That's true. But the point is more that, let me put it like this, Asymmetricon, to like do a little bit of a counterpoint there, is if your choice is do nothing or swift cast something, you'd probably rather swift cast something.
The hour is at hand. Behold but a sliver of my god's power.
Brislos says every 2 reprises is a gain on DPS. How does that work? Why is it 2? Yeah, the problem, Ronan, is that to get the dual cast, you have to stand and cast. I know it's only, like, all things considered, it's only like 2 seconds. So it's not that bad. But if you don't have time to stop at all, then it is that bad. Black mages can have this problem too. The difference is that black mages can set themselves up such that they, like, with 1 triple cast, they can get themselves in a situation where they can, if needed, do 10 instant casts in a row, just bap, 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 by just, like, aligning themselves so that they're like, well, I finished my Astral Fire State, Despair, Transpose, Triple Cast, Blizzard 3, Blizzard 4, they're instant. Paradox, Transpose, if you already have a Fire style, you go Fire 3, otherwise you go Paradox Fire 3. And then you can, you know, you have a Fire 4 that is also Triple Cast, and then you can just choose to Paradox again right then and there if you haven't already. And then you can, like, Xenoglossy a bunch of times if you have a dot that needs to be reapplied. Like, you can spend a long time naturally as a black mage just standing there like there's no movement needed, but right now is the sequence where I'm doing like 10 GZDs with no cast time.
The question of who is mightier
Hey, Mina. Hope you're doing well.
Come, adventurer. Let us find the answer together.
Black Mage bad rabbit hole on bingo? I guess so. That is wild, Mina, but I assume Stainless is just trying to find help. My suggestion... My suggestion is if you can get a hold of Cat in the Discord server, and Cat might have the answer. Or maybe Cat is here as well. Any time that Red Mage's mobility has been called into question, Cat usually jumps in to say, no, it's not a problem. I don't know if Cat would know as much whether it's a problem in this tier on account of not, having done it as Red Mage. But Cat might know a thing or two that I can't say because I haven't played Red Mage to that degree. But I do know, for comparison's sake, I do know what Black Mage can do, right? Yeah, see, that was what I was just making sure, Brizlos, is that I can see what you mean. 2 enchanted or plays would be a gain over, a normal jolt cast situation. I was wondering if you had accounted for the fact that that casting those 2 plays might come at a cost in terms of melee combos. But it can be difficult to know whether it would come at a cost, right? Because you'd have to know long term, like, how many melee combos am I having? Does me casting replace, like, will I finish this fight with 10 of both manas to spare? Because if I do, then me using replace twice doesn't matter, because they're never going to turn into melee combos anyway. The only point where it could matter is that having those 10 at a different point earlier could be helpful. Hey, Jellyfish. Hope you're doing well. How many mental reps do you have on your achievement so far? I think I have, like... Let's just say that I've passed 2/3 on the achievement. I can check after this one. Mistel, the one that asked is Stainless. Stainless is in the Discord as well. And Mina, I suppose, but I think it was Stainless asking. Enjoy your pizza, Kay. Brizlov says as a Red Mage main, I will say this tier only done up to M11. M11S has been pretty fun, and optimizing movement is definitely a challenge. Tyrant especially. That's also what I heard. That is exactly what I heard, that Tyrant was rough. And that's exactly it, is that one player will be like, this is so hard, no, I hate it. Another player will be like, this is awesome. I get to flex my skill here. Hey Darth, hope you're doing well. A fun fact, guys. Did you know that this Prayer of Light thing triples your damage? I mean, Reaper isn't doing it. I'll queue when it says 49. Oh, right, the achievement. 1,348. Good luck, Teldemar. Who's doing it in your raid then, Stainless? Who's your LB3 guy? The samurai. Ah. Oh boy. That serious. Oh man. The gunbreaker in the white mage dress. I love it. That's a good question, Cole. It'd be difficult to test, I think. Well, actually, I guess not difficult to test, but be awkward to test. Oh, someone straight up died on the way. In a world where your tank remembers to use mitigation. Oh, the machinist knows me. Whoops. That's the wrong card. The only reason why I started listing mitigation was because they asked if they should slow down. I was like, just use your mitigation and it'll be fine. And they said I used everything I had. I was like, yeah, I saw Rampart a little late. And then they said, also use Reprise. I'm like, I mean, I didn't see Nebula, Aurora, or Camouflage, so... I didn't even mention Super Polite, but they did admit that they weren't using a bunch of other options. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, but they specifically said Super Polite is level 50. They have Super Polite. But your point being that they said they had used everything they had, when in fact they had not. That was the only reason why I started listing. Was because they basically admitted they didn't know. Because if they did know, then they would have just said, yeah, I used those too, when I listed them. But they didn't. It is one of those dungeons where Rampart was probably all you needed to be fine. Pulling like with a decent healer before this, and then you get Pharaoh Sirius. Hey Darkrin, hope you're doing well as well. They reworked this place, right? No. They haven't changed a thing. This dungeon is unchanged, Dragnir. At least for now. Yeah, exactly. That is actually part of the reason why it becomes difficult to have the conversation about, for instance, Aurum Vale getting reworked. A lot of people say that it is a much easier duty now. I don't know if I quite agree. I feel like things are hurting about as much as they normally do. The only places where I'm noticing a distinct difference is the bosses spent more time casting, obviously, which means that they do less damage. Obviously. But that's rather specific. And that some people are saying that Aurum Vale, like the mobs in general, have been nerfed. But what I'm noticing there is that, yeah, that's how it would feel if you just got good. If you just got good at the game. That's how it would feel. It would feel like the enemies suddenly got easier. Aurum's first room is easier. It's actually only easier if you don't lean left. Because they moved packs from the center to the door. So it kind of comes down to whether it's easy or not, whether you're playing to the changes. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The way I usually deal with that boss as a tank is when the bird flies up. The moment it comes down, I immediately slam my invuln. Just... Maybe I'll wait a couple seconds, but I'm expecting that the boss is gonna body slam me. And then suddenly things go sideways and it gets really weird. But if I don't let it, then we might just be able to rush the boss before it can do anything. Squidward and Shishui should be next. That's assuming if their target is to fix all the optional leveling dungeons, then yeah. We're straight up going to white from this. I should have focused on healing. But yeah, by the way, pro tip, never stand in front of the ether valve. Ever. Never, ever, ever. I can't make it back. What should be fixed in Shisui? If they were to rework Shisui of the Violet Tides, they would probably do something about the chests on the second boss. Not that anything needs to be done about the chests on the second boss. But the duty support NPCs might have trouble with it, and they could probably do something else. Now the question is whether if they did do that, whether they just go, nah, we'll just remove them, or they add something instead. They might make the chests not personal. That would be a way to do it. Exactly, Silva. Exactly. Mandy Bob, hope you're doing well. It was probably either Clove or K. Enjoy the emotes. Anyway, observe how it looks when stuff goes wrong in a dungeon, guys. For anyone who's ever been anxious or a little bit queasy about that. Also, thank you, Broncrawl and Mina, for the sub. Thank you so much. We basically had a little bit of a corpse run here, as opposed to this, which is a corpse crawl. And no one said a word. Not a word. It was just, well, keep going. We come back, save the day. Tank is still alive. We continue. As it should be. You just keep going. Thank you for the gifted membership, Harry. Thank you for the gifted membership, Harry. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So much support, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, Nancy Robert. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty alright myself. Good luck, Zaf. You can do it. Songbird says, funny story from my high-level roulette recently. We got Hawk Manor hard and DPS 2 close to the sun, so Harley instantly ate Lady Amandine and wiped us several times. Oh yes, correct. As Regal Star says, if the tank uses tank LB, maybe a reprisal as well, then you can live it. Just an LB tank LB1. Even better if the healer puts up a barrier if they can. And then you can just tank through it. It's of course easier if you can just convince everyone to chill. But if you just tank LB it, it should be fine. Anyway, I'll be right back and then we keep going. In the meantime, sanity restored. Alright, I'm back. Troll says, I need to do so many blue missions. I don't even have this dungeon unlocked, and I think I'm almost done with the AI miscues. Well, it's optional. You don't have to unlock it. You can always come back to it later. But there is, I will say, on a random side note, I will say side note. I will say on Pharaoh Sirius, it's not quite there, but I will say that when I've talked about harder dungeons, it's kind of like that kind of ballpark. Pharaoh Sirius is not that hard. What makes Pharaoh Sirius interesting is that every part of the dungeon is presented in such a way, it challenges you in such a way that if you don't know then every single bit of it is going to be really hard. Like, just the first big pull, if you don't know that there's enemies that actually give you vuln debuffs that makes it really scary, if you don't know that the enemies hit a little bit harder than usual, you just die. The first boss, if you ignore the dogs, you will you will be in danger. You might not wipe, but you might very well wipe just because you ignored them. And then, like, they are so scary that you actually need to prio kill them. The same thing applies for, like, the big pull after the first boss. The sprites cast like, the reason we almost wiped was because they did that. They did the thing that the sprites do. And you need to interrupt that or stun them or something. Again, if you know that, no problem. They're basically nothing burger. You get to the second boss, you need to know how to handle it, otherwise it gets really scary. Weirdly, it has a stun that lasts 7 seconds, but can be removed with the Suna. And then, you know, the third part, there's the weird ether valves, and more sprites. And then the third boss, hilariously, its gimmick is ignore everything, kill the boss. Like, everything else in the arena are distractions. If you do deal with that, the boss starts getting scary, I think. And then the final boss is more normal, I would say. The thing she has is she puts a debuff on players, and if they don't get fully healed, bad stuff happens. I will queue when it says 02. Never mind, I will deal with something. Banned! I will queue when it says 13. Hey Danny, hope you're doing well. I had a dream that you beat the Savage Raid first try. Wow, that would be amazing. A trial? A raid? Something with 8 players? What could it be in before Solemn Trinity? It's Ifrit Heart. It's just Ifrit Heart, guys. What do you mean, Gersel? I'm a little confused. Or is it a joke on the bot? Nice. By the way, guys, the app for the overlay is working again. It's no longer freezing. Obviously, it's because of all the support you guys gave. It healed it somehow, magically. It got thawed out of its weirdness by all the support. Imagine if that LB didn't go through. And the support is very much appreciated, Mistel. I don't expect anyone to throw money at me, So that's why I appreciate it so much when anyone chooses to. So don't feel bad about something like that. I'm glad that people want to watch me do something like this in the first place. I will queue when it says 20. What's that, Uber Penguin? Hope you're doing well. You've been on the cosmic grind. Nice. I mean, you could have been checking in here while you were cosmically grinding, but I could imagine that you'd see that maybe you watched something else, or maybe you were actually so focused on the cosmic grind that you couldn't have anything else going on. It's like that Sword Art Online Abridged, where she makes a weapon and Guilty Gear music plays. Oh, Shaq's here. And Ilana's here. Is it best to remove the lunatic voice healing debuff, or just heal through it as best as you can? Oh, well, she gives a debuff that does damage over time. That one I don't believe you can use as Shuna. I would say just heal if the person needs it. The other debuff causes something to happen, Broncrawl, if you don't top up the player before it ticks down to 0. That one I recommend that you get solved early if they're close to full HP, and you don't have an instant cast single target heal like Lustrate or Essential Dignity or something. You could just use an AoE heal so that like everyone gets some value out of it. But I do recommend getting it over with quickly so that you don't have to worry about anything in that regard.
The brute bomber has muscled his way into the ring!
Oh wait, no one's taking damage. Well, whatever. I'll blow you to smithereens.
Still standing!
To smithereens, you say? Smithereens. Die! Die! He's actually telling you that you should invest it. You should change the color of your gland. He's like, die! 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 Pie! Whee! Oh, sweet! I have a short fuse. He has a short fuse. Boom. And he goes bye-bye. Oh. In retrospect, I should probably have handed the machinist that card. They're doing pretty good damage. Ugh. I did know that, Sylvan. That's a really funny detail.
Don't mind me. Throat's a bit parched.
How would you know? I'm looking at the enmity.
Banned compound detected. Competence disqualified.
It's not like Machinist is going to generate a lot of enmity from healing.
My word, he just assaulted the referee! The scoundrel!
They also have the dance partner, so that probably also helps me know. What do you mean, Stainless? I do not have ACT on this PC.
A vicious blow! Oh, that'll leave a mark!
It's pretty open and shut case. Yeah, sorry, Kay. I actually have the whole game interconnected to a separate PC, and that's why I'm seeing it. It's very, very complicated. You wouldn't possibly understand.
I can't lose. I won't.
I will say this is a pretty epic timing for the fight to end.
It's all over. Until next time.
I can't lose. I won't. Hey, J-Cax. Hope you're doing well. How are they gonna follow up on the Arcadian in 8.0? Malleable asks. I mean, they're gonna do a new raid. Now the big question is, can we just bring Medem? Like, we need a commentator. Come. Yep. You're coming with us. No, you can't be the new boss of that company. You're coming with us. You're our friend now. LQ and it says 56. Oh! That's weird. Keep of the lake twice? Lake of the Keep? Hey, Nixito. Hope you're doing well. Shaq got a freed extreme? Oh. I feel like recently when I'm doing the mentor roulettes, I get this and then I hear in the chat that like someone else gets something way cooler. Pretty consistent. Maybe what I should start doing is I should announce when I'm going to queue, and then I'm like deliberately like a few seconds late, so that someone else snipes the duty that I would get, so I can get the interesting thing. Is that the galaxy brain move? Jump in front of me! Tank the boring duty for me. Not that Keep Up the Lake is boring. Simple says, I got Copperbill Mines with all level 100 players. You got what I expected to get the whole evening. Why are you all joining actual duties? Don't you need that? Don't you know there's a lot of that need guild tests done? Also true, Flames, we just had the Brute Bomber, which is pretty cool. Bread Bean says, I think Fate would send you to Bachman if you tried. That would be really funny if that happened. Like do this whole Kagamami scheme to set up to make sure that I land in the cool duty, and then the game is like, yeah, I mean that the second thing we have after the level 50 dungeon is actually Bachman. You want Bachman? No? Well, you can have Bachman. That's what we have. That's all we have. Want Bachman or nothing? That's what I thought. It's Bachman or nothing. It's nerf or nothing. The funny thing there, Jextis, is that ward up, if you just like blast everything, kill all of them, most of the time in my experience, the one that is invulnerable will die in time before the others spawn. Or rather, if it doesn't, then what happens is that they will all spawn back in time so you can cleave everything down together. Whereas if you slow down, but someone doesn't, then what you're gonna get is a conga line, which is way worse. And the third option, of course, is if everyone can actually hold it and wait, then you can just kill them all together in the first wave. It's just that, in my experience, where the best option is the best option is of course hold your fire, but a lot of players are just not going to do that. The second best is just blast. Also, Rust, have a good evening. Roberto, it's the same game. It's the exact same game. We're actually on the same servers. Tristan Debat in the chat here, Milo in-game, plays on PS5 in my raid team. It's the same game. So pick what you prefer. That's it. Are you Mandalorian? Hope you're doing well. Uh-oh. Yeah, that is something that is worth mentioning, is that you are able to play Final Fantasy XIV on both PS5 and PC on the same account if you like. However, for some reason you have to pay separately for access on PS5 and on PC. That is something worth keeping in mind. It's because Sony wants to take their cut? Oh, yeah, probably. You know what the 30-day thing is? I mean, I'm assuming that what you're talking about is the subscription, Roberto. The game has a monthly subscription. However, the game also has a very extensive free trial that is basically gone on to be a meme because of how good it is. You can get all the way... You get the first 2 expansions of the game to play on the free trial with no time limit. So you don't even have to ask me if it's worth it. Try the game on the free trial. Just download the game, make a free trial account and play it, and then you tell me if it's worth it. You can play for hundreds, potentially thousands of hours without paying a single dime. Nothing. And then when you've run out of content, you could pay for the subscription then. And also, as Kay says, it's not free in the way where they're like, oh yeah, but you do have to give us your credit card information and then we'll eventually take money. No, it's free. And you can just play until you don't, you can just choose to pay when you feel like it's worth it. You make a free trial, says it's 20 bucks. Where are you looking? Where are you looking? Caetsu says the free trial limitations are pretty severe. I disagree. The limitations are many, but relative to free trials in other games, it's nothing. And also, as Rust says, you can't play your free trial account and then be like, okay, well, I want to try this paid content and then pay for a month. If once you've paid, you're no longer a free trial account. And then you have to pay the subscription. But then you get access to, all the content that is in the expansions you've bought. And the thing is, guys, the reason why the free trial is super severe about market board access is because of botting. Could you imagine how bad the botting problem would be if free trials could trade? I believe I'm in Ward 29, Stainless. Shaq says Ward 29, plot 36. Thank you. I don't know what that is, Roberto. That's a really pretty rare combo, I think. Yeah, that scythe is quite big. I will queue when it says 30. Mr. Lock Horizon is an anime, or you know, also an anime. Agreed. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, something like that. I'm pretty sure I haven't gotten a single leveling duty all day. Or all evening. Yeah, that is true, Everdistance. That is actually an incredibly funny twist. That the reason why Log Horizon suddenly stopped progressing, getting additions for a really long time, is because of tax evasion. And yeah. Uh-oh. The story focuses a lot more on, I would even say, just the politics of an MMO world, if it was, like, real. It's actually really, in a way, a really funny twist. That's how that ends up going down. Okay, our tank is using something. I was a little weird, a little confused. Not using much, but they did use Reprisal just then. I have not, Roberto. It's that embezzles. Folio! You know, I just realized that it was Great Cabal Library hard and not normal. I'm perfectly aware that I should have realized that way sooner, considering what packs we fought, but it just occurred to me when the guy came out of the book that, oh yeah, it is the hard version. And that's also true. Normal would actually have been a leveling duty. Book slap. You've been booked. Booked what for? For a trip to the Great Cabal Library. However, you may want to wait a bit with your arrival, because we're having a little bit of an inferno problem, you could say. Ow. To be fair on that one, I almost always make this mistake because I'm pretty sure it's turned right here on normal. So, not as confused about the tank turning this way here. Great Gubal hardback. No ignition souls in the archive? Oh. I don't know. Now it'll be real sad if I actually know the reference. Breakable library hard isn't that hard. It's not. Most of the parentheses hard dungeons are not actually hard. They're just like I have said before that they should have called them parentheses revisited, not hard. Because that's what it really is. It's just Great Global Library again, I guess. Which was, as far as I understand, the whole point was that by being able to reuse the same dungeon, like largely the same dungeon, and just needing to place enemies, they could save costs and still be able to offer your dungeon. But that didn't mean it had to be hard, it's just different. Yeah, they could have called it remixed. That would also have worked. Hard is specifically a problem because it indeed serves up the expectation that it's supposed to be hard when it's actually just supposed to be different. Is our tank good? I'll say I noticed during this boss fight that the tanks stopped attack, like they just did auto attacks. So I don't know if they've disconnected. Oh, they're still here. They're still here. They have awoken. Oh. But yeah, I agree. I would also like to see the return of the concept of parentheses hard dungeons. But again, I stand by that they should have not been called hard in the first place. The Magnus Archives. Oh. Well, I will say, Ceres, at the very least, I didn't know that. Like I haven't heard this. You said it was a podcast, so there was no way I would have guessed it at the very least. So, on that, I at least don't feel bad that I forgot the reference. I didn't know. I never had a chance. Rift Walker says, what would they be called then? Revisited, remix, again, if they want to be funny. It would be pretty funny if they actually had made it so that we had Great Global Library again. But there's plenty of options. The problem is with calling it hard, because, as I said, that gives the expectation that it is going to be the hard version, but it's not even the same dungeon. Like, not really. It's just the same layout. Like, it's just the same area. It's not even the same layout. A lot of the time, they send you somewhere else in the dungeon. I'm guessing the logic there is that maybe they made the whole dungeon and were like, well, we decided to make the path through the dungeon this way instead. And then they just had that other path. Or maybe when they made the dungeon, they already knew they wanted to make 2 of it. So they added a little, like they worked a little extra to give a little variety, but ultimately it's mostly the same dungeon. So they save a lot. Don't worry, Mistel, we're almost there. Great Cabal Reborn. A library reborn. But yeah, as I said, there's plenty of options. So there isn't really a... There wasn't any need to specifically... Uh-oh, he's... I think the tank is... What is it? What? Huh? He just started spamming... Hard slash, I think? It just hard slash, hard slash, hard slash. Huh? You good? Just out of nowhere. It's a panda! It's a weird looking panda. That's what happens when they shave and go to the gym, Silva. When they actually try, this is what happens. They grow horns. A monk knows me. That must be weird. That must be weird. Imagine that you're watching a video or something, teaching you something for a game, and then you go into a level in the game, and then the person who was just teaching you is there. Just like, hey man! That must be weird. On the properties of quakes. That is interesting information. I didn't actually know that. It's been a long time since someone just stayed in the imp form and just went, well, guess this is my life now. Apparently, if you don't get it fixed before the thunder, you straight up die. Oh. The Black Mage read somewhere that Black Mages just stand still. Exactly, the imp form seems to give you a lightning resistance down debuff. I will queue when it says 36. Right, Missile, enjoy your day. That boss is an enrage? No, that was not an enrage. There were comets to hide behind, as usual. Hey, Tong. Hope you're doing well. Also, hey, Toss. I know you've been here for a bit. Hope you're doing well as well. Oh boy, we managed. We did it, guys. We found the guild test, and Shaq's here. Interestingly, Tung, I went into this expecting to get drowned in a Realm Reborn leveling roulettes. We have not seen a single leveling roulette today. We've gotten a ton of high-level dungeons, quote-unquote. And we have also gotten a Brute Bomber. That's a lot of retainers, Toss. Do you need that many? Yeah, exactly, Saras. I'm guessing what happened is, as you said, the relic is putting so many people in leveling roulette that mentors just not needed. The reason why I assumed it wouldn't be like that is because I sometimes saw mentors in our groups for it. I'll queue when it says 22. Hey, Virum. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that is true, Jaxtis. You'd have to either do that or wait until maybe they expand the free trial to include Shadowbringers. Hey, we got an extreme. Fantastic. Is that Shaq? It is Shaq. And that's fair, Jextis. When I got into the game originally, small dragons, auras, lizards were not in the free trial, so I bought the game day 2, deleted my male cat, my cat boy, and then made this character instead. Is a tank going to grab 3 orbs? Or are you just gonna die? We are going to wipe now. Now that there's a chance, I will start actually resing people again. Never mind. By the way, Shaq, assuming that you can hear this, if you're tanking first, the moment the orbs appear, you sprint and grab 3 orbs. You don't wait until it's time, because Ramu will just suddenly choose to smack, and sometimes he'll do it before the Chaotic Strike, just randomly. So just don't risk it. Just grab orbs the moment they're there. Yeah, we will have to go again. I think we have too many orbs. Something is wrong at least. Hey Epics, hope you're doing well. Yeah, we have too many orbs. Way too many orbs. Well, you'll just die out in Narnia, I guess. And miraculously, apparently going out to Narnia worked. So they just walked for so long that it was fine. Yeah, we have too many orbs. And the thing is, if we weren't having so many problems with other things, I wouldn't have any issues managing the orb count. But because I have to deal with all that, I can't. Hey Nosha, hope you're doing well. see, we only need 3 orbs on the field. That is exactly what we have. Why did he take one? Oh boy. Someone's gonna die there. Somehow not. That was amazing. How many orbs are there? Too many. I can't find them. They're dead. They would be dead anyways, actually. Don't know what to do for the tank. I didn't make it. Yep. Best you can do, Shaq, is try to hold on by maintaining the debuff, but only refresh it when you have to. Okay, the other tank is coming in now. Now we have to also deal with Rolling Thunder. Hey Ram, hope you're doing well. Too many orbs, I think. Did they hear what I said? At all? Okay, they got it solved. Whew. I need to hold on for a little bit longer so I can rest the other healer. How many orbs do we have? Too many, I think. On the off chance that I get the tether. Never mind, this is the worst possible outcome. He skipped! He skipped! He straight up skipped the circle thing. And now we're dead. Thanks for that, samurai. Hope work was good, Ram. Yeah, at least we got Echo. So now it'll be slightly easier. Oh boy. Very good. I really want to steal the orb that is near Shack, because the other three are more closely bunched together, but at the same time, that orb is the least likely to get randomly yoinked. So I also don't want to take it. Oh, there's three up there. I'll just take these two then. Shaq, I think your tank partner has left you to die. He reacted eventually. Just long enough that I feel like I had to mention it. Man, there's a lot of orbs. Let's see what we can do here. The problem is that every time I have to start getting Galaxy Brain to do anything, I stop managing the orbs. And then we get in trouble. So I need the other healer to carry on the Galaxy Brain healing, because I can't do everything. Speaking of doing everything... I can't take orbs now. Just, I can't at all. So, the orbs are just going to start flooding us for the next 30 seconds. I guess they don't know what tether means. Yeah, we can't recover from that. Hey Foxen, hope you're doing well. That's perfectly alright. Oh no. This is fine. As long as the other tank is ready to swap on the next opportunity, this is fine. Every time the blue circles appear, I'm hoping I get one when I see anyone. When I'm actually able to help, I'm standing ready, just in case I get it. And I pretty much never get it. Oh. Shaq is left in the dust. And I didn't get it again, so Shaq is actually dead this time. Can you rescue a charmed player? Yes, you can. You can, when they are charmed. You can't when they are, you know, in the countdown. You have to wait until they're zombie walking, otherwise you can't. From what I can see, at least. There's one ad left. We have to get it. For some reason, I thought that we didn't have a rest going there yet. I don't see where the other person... Ah, it's Shaq. Might be fine. I think some of our DPS don't actually speak English. Is the Black Mage only casting Blizzard 3? No, is it a Ballad Mage? This might be a good time for a tank switch, yeah. Because we do want to get rid of some orbs, and it's also about time. That was a lot of orbs, but it might have been fine. We kind of need the cleanup, and the boss is dying now, so we might not be able to wipe anymore. Whew. Seems to be a... I'm not really sure what I'm doing, Black Mage. Eagle Star says, it looks like they just cast Flare 10k once in a while, then spam Blizzard 3. Oh, that's... The MP battery. That's a funny one. It's rare. But to be fair... On the one hand, more damage would of course have made it faster. But an interesting thing about Ramuh Extreme is that as long as you can do the mechanic right, the DPS check is so incredibly lax that it is incredibly unlikely that you will wipe. So ultimately what we needed was just to get it right. Just mechanically. And just to put it into perspective, it's a long time since I did, but since we did, when we did Extreme Countdown, we managed to beat Ramu Extreme with 2 tanks and a healer. So, and just to be clear, when it's 2 tanks and a healer, there are situations where you could just wipe to random chance. Because there's a limit to how many orbs you can clean up. And in the final phase, in the second phase, the Rolling Thunders, I think, can sometimes lead to a situation where the healer has to grab orbs. And that kind of means that you can be put in a situation where no one can grab orbs. And if there's too many orbs on the field, then... well, rather, not no one can grab orbs, rather that it's going to be really difficult to deal with the orbs. And the if there's like 4 orbs or so on the field, then the healer can die to random chance. So you have to make sure that there's only orbs when you need them. Optimally, you do the tank switching when the orbs spawn, actually. Just that's when you tank switch, if you can. Because that's a convenient time to clean up. So that there are no orbs as possible. There's also a funny detail is that Rolling Thunder is the silent killer in that whole fight. If there's only one player that... if there's 0 or 1 player that can be affected by Rolling Thunder because they don't have the immunity from orb collecting, then Ramu will cast Rolling Thunder, nothing will happen, and then when there are 2 available targets, Rolling Thunder just sometimes just appears. Just in the middle of everything. Sometimes I feel like it has spawned with like a few stacks, as if it was like just secretly there all along. Which also means that in a situation where you're wiping... yeah, I saw Shaq. I do believe that I came over and yoinked you. I actually dragged you out. And then you got missed again. Because I didn't get a blue circle. Like, I saw you the first time, but I didn't get a blue circle, so I couldn't help you. Yeah, I know. Wasn't that where I grabbed you? I feel like we did that. I did that multiple times, actually. So I can't remember if it was specifically the kill pull. Thank you, Ilya. Also, hey, Mr. Forever and Lotus. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Ardell. Hope you're doing well. You may have missed a Ramu Extreme hook. Yeah, I think I commented on that, Shaq. That I saw 2 players and I saw one was missing. And then I said, oh, it's Shaq. And I saw you had aggro. So I was like, well, fine. Because the Tank Buster also saves you. Anyway, that's an interesting... That's the classic one to end on. It's funny how I was like, 9 minutes left. Let's do one more. A dungeon, we can easily do that. Get a guild test. Okay, we can do one more. Ramu Extreme. 30 minutes. Anyway, I think we will call that a wrap. If you would like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link in the chat right there. There you will find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming up in the coming days. I usually update it Sunday or Monday. You'll also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams when I put them out. And if you grab the reminder roll in the role assignments room, you'll get a notification whenever I post a video or stream, as well as an extra one about 15 minutes before stream starts, so you can catch it right when we go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can like the stream, you can follow, you can become a member, you can subscribe, you can super chat, you can cheer, you can do all that goodness. If you don't like any of that, there's also the Ko-fi link that I will post right there in the chat. It all helps support me in the channel directly, so I can do stuff like this with all of you. So thank you so much for the support. But that'll be it from me tonight. So good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where in the world, and hope to see you all very soon. And over on the Twitch side, I will see if we can raid someone. But on that note, bye bye.